Hello, my name is Melissa Hiatte, and I was a part of the group MRS. We created the film Anne, which is an intro to a horror movie about a doll that follows a robber and tries to get revenge on her for robbing a store. Throughout the film, the robber attempts to escape the doll, but it ends up being too late. When we were doing research on different genres, we as a group came to the conclusion that we wanted to make a horror film because it's something that we've never done before, so we thought it would be interesting. Since we chose to make a horror movie, we tried to add in darker shots to make it more mysterious and add a lot of silence but with sound effects to make it suspenseful, like this. Along with the horror aspect, we aimed to incorporate action shots into our film because we didn't want it to be slow during the whole duration of the film. In the beginning, we didn't know what kind of horror movie we wanted to make, but we decided to go with the scary doll convention because we felt like we could do that one well, unlike something like zombies, which requires detailed costumes or special effects that we aren't capable of doing. To add to our research, we also created a Google form for people to answer questions based on different movie tropes to see what different conventions people are more favorable of. I would say that our film uses a lot of conventions when it comes to the characters that we created. We wanted the store owner to be angry, but also someone who is proud of their job, so much so that they would run after the robber themselves. As an example, I have the store owner from the movie Elf, who never seems to be in a good mood but does his job well. For the mood board, we tried to capture the vibe we wanted for this character, which is bossy in a way. For the robber, we went with the classic all-black outfit. Our mood board just shows a lot of people wearing masks and hoodies because this is what we wanted our character to be wearing. We also wanted them to come across as kind of creepy and mysterious like the people on the mood board. The last convention we used was the Raggedy Ann doll because it has been used in movies before and we felt like it had an unsettling look, unlike a regular baby doll. We definitely used conventions, but I would say we also challenged them because typically in films or just in general, robbers are thought of as men. But in our film, we had a woman robber. We also had a woman store owner, even though when people think of a store owner, they typically imagine a man. By doing this, we represent women in the film industry. Behind the scenes, everyone who worked on the film was a woman. This includes editors, directors, writers, filmers, and any other role that would come into play when making a film. I would say that our target audience is average American teenagers, along with people who like horror movies. The target audience is teenagers because the whole cast is teenagers and it's based in present time, which is something teenagers would be more interested in. We learned more about our target audience by using that Google form that I talked about previously, by seeing what they like. We tried to cater to our audience by making our film interesting and suspenseful so they would want to watch the rest because it was just an opening to a film. The way we did this was by adding dramatic sound effects to amp up the intensity of it, like this. We also tried to incorporate spooky shots to make it more suspenseful. Realistically, our film would be posted on YouTube for people to watch, and we would try to get people to watch it by posting it on other social media platforms such as Instagram or TikTok. This is because short video clips have been really popular these days to advertise different types of media like movies or music. This is because so many people watch these short videos and they are able to get someone's attention quickly. We would try to lean in on the trends happening with different hashtags and sound clips on TikTok and Instagram to reach our target audience, which is teenagers. We would also try to get as many people as possible to share our film to get all of the attention that we can get. We had a lot of problems when it came to creating our film, one of them being time management. It's really hard to schedule a time to film when you have 3 different people who are busy on a regular basis with jobs or family events or other things like that, but we figured it out and got through it. Another problem that we had was communication. There were a lot of times that I witnessed my teammates arguing with each other over how they wanted things to be done, And since I'm someone who doesn't like conflict, it caused a bit of stress when it came to making the film. But again, we got through it and we were able to compromise on those hard choices. For example, Shay wanted to include a time lapse in our video, but Reagan didn't. I was in the middle, but I was leaning more towards including the time lapse. In order to compromise and keep the video short, we went with a fade from day to night instead of a time lapse, which I think turned out pretty well. Another problem that we had was we made the film too long in the beginning to where we couldn't fit much of it into 2 minutes. A lot of parts in the film we had to cut out in order to not go past that 2-minute mark. It was definitely hard to pick which parts we wanted to keep in and which parts we wanted to take out, but we just had to keep in mind that it was an intro to a film and not a whole film, which is what we are used to doing in our other film classes. My group integrated a lot of technology into our film. First off, in order to gather all of our research, we used Google and Google Forms. We created a Google form with common questions about what people prefer to see in movies, as I mentioned previously. Google Slides, Google Docs, and Google Drive were used to plan our film. For example, here are our mood boards that we made in Google Slides. And here's the shot sheet that we created in Google Docs. We used many folders to try to keep everything organized in Google Drive, which was pretty helpful. The next few applications that we used were Adobe After Effects, Adobe Premiere Pro, Adobe Illustrator, YouTube, and Writer Duet. The first one we used was Writer Duet, and it is where we wrote out our script. We were able to add all sorts of information like different shots, different settings, etc., which was helpful when filming. Next, we used Adobe Illustrator to make our logo so that we could have it electronically before animating it. We used Adobe After Effects to animate the logo for the intro of our film, which is MRS, and it stands for Melissa, Reagan, and Shay. Shay is the one who animated it, and I think it turned out really well. For the film itself, we edited it in Premiere Pro, which was fairly easy for us because we are used to using Adobe Premiere Pro in our other film classes, so we already know how to add effects and sound and everything like that. For sound, we got most of it on YouTube by searching for royalty-free sound clip, but we also used some other websites such as Vezilon Studios and Mixkit. For filming, we used a camera, which is a Canon T5, which belonged to Reagan, and we used a tripod provided by our teacher. We had to remember to bring multiple batteries for the camera because we were out filming for so long, and we brought multiple SD cards just in case we ran out of room. We also had to use the lights on our phones in order to brighten up some of the dark scenes so that you could actually see what was going on, which helps to an extent. Overall, I think we did pretty well on the film. It was very time consuming and took a lot of work for it to come out how we wanted it to, but we pushed through and overcame a lot of challenges throughout the process and became closer as a friend group because of it.